There we go. Now we're recording. Okay, so so you're going to be matched with a student and begin tutoring next week. So we're jumping right into this. Okay, you're going to meet with your student twice a week on either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. If your student is attending Dream Academy face-to-face, starting next week, we'll be going face-to-face Monday through Thursday. So the kids will be coming in 4 days a week. So if your kid that you've been attached to or connected to is currently attending Dream Academy face-to-face, you're going to tutor during our academic hour, which is 4 to 5 o'clock on either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. Okay. If your student is attending school virtually, you and your student will establish a convenient time between the two of you to meet online and do your tutoring. Okay. So again, you can 2 days a week, however really you want to do it. Okay. I do kind of recommend that you don't do it too late in the evening because the kids just kind of lose their energy, or if they've got ADD or something like that, they're just done, you know, by later in the evening. So earlier is better, but y'all set that up. So you're going to be tutoring via Zoom. You're going to receive an appropriate email for either the student or their guardian and invite them to reoccurring Zoom appointments on your twice a week. Okay. So you can just set that up as a reoccurring meeting, and then it's stable and you know when you're meeting, and you can just kind of create that, you know, time that you guys set it apart. Okay. So if your child that you're tutoring is in, hold on, my dogs are fighting. Victor, can you help me take them out? If they're in Dream Academy, they're going to kind of exit the Dream Academy classroom, and we're going to set them up to meet with you online. Okay. So we're going to be focusing on basically the math and language arts / writing / reading skills, the fundamentals. Since they pretty much lost instruction about March of last year, they're still behind. And so we're just looking at like the basics. And so don't worry about social studies and science and history and all of that. We're just going to look at the basic ELA and math, you know, skills. And I'm going to show you in a minute what apps they have on the HISD platform that you can do that. Students should not have any homework. The teachers are not assigning homework, but when you log on, you're probably going to find that they have work that's missing. And so if they have work that's missing, you feel free to get that made up, okay? Because that'll just help them with their grades as well. Most of our students are at Foster, at least right now. We will be expanding and tutoring more kids from other schools. I believe Dippin is going to be sharing their login IDs with you guys. Their login IDs you'll see in just a minute when I share my screen with one of our students, Alex. But their passwords all should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's super easy to get on. You can click this link here, or you can just Google HISD Clever and it'll pop up like HISD Clever login page, and click in there. Do not, okay, you're going to click where it says log in with Active Directory. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Just a note from what I've learned, because I've already been tutoring some kids for about a month now. If your computer pops up and says, you know, do you want to save this password? Don't do it, because it will lock you in to that student's password and you won't be able to maybe tutor another child if you want to. It just causes trouble. So just don't save it. And then I've listed here, if you have any problems, feel free to text me or call me or email me anytime. This is a learning curve for everybody. It's going to be a little difficult and challenging at first, but every time you do it, it gets easier. Okay. So I'm going to try to go as fast as I can through this because it's all written down. So before you tutor, and we're going to be starting next week. So if you're starting on Monday, Wednesday, that means we got to kind of get busy in the next few days here. So what we'd like you to do is when we give you the email that student's going to be using, email their guardian, their family, or whoever it is that they live with this week before tutoring begins, and introduce yourself. And, you know, just say, hey, you know, my name's Julie. I'm going to be working with Alex, and, you know, here's my email. Here's my phone number. Let me, you know, if you ever need to get a hold of me, here's my information. And, you know, is there anything in particular that you think that we should work on? Or does he have extra troubles in certain areas? Just kind of feel them out and let them know that you're going to be kind of a go-to for them. and be there as a resource to help them out. Especially the virtual parents are drowning. Okay, a lot of them really need help, and so they're going to reach out and really appreciate your help. Okay. I'd also like you to reach out to their teachers, and I'm going to show you how to do that when we hop on HISD's Clever, but you can do the same thing with the teachers. Now, when you log on, you're going to be logging on as the student. So the teacher has no way to contact you. So if you would send the teachers a message this week or next week when you get started, giving them your cell phone number and your email, and explain to them, you know, you can't message me because I'm using Alex's login, and this is how to reach me if you have any concerns about how he's doing academically, or if he messes up on any of his assignments, anything we need to focus on, any special concerns. Then you're going to establish that connection with the teachers, and it's a nice thing. I've been getting emails saying, you know, oh, he's got a test this week in this, and then I'm able to kind of jump in and help a little bit there. Okay. So what I recommend you to do, I'm on this third bullet down, is before you begin tutoring, you definitely need to go onto the platform and kind of get a feel for it beforehand, because there's a lot of information, and you're going to see when we jump on. So click on the teacher pages and kind of get to know how they do it. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of guidance from above that's like saying to the teachers to place, you know, on their page every week an outline of what's going on for the week and what's due. Some teachers do, some teachers don't. And so it's a little confusing at first, but get on the platform, check out which apps the teachers use. They don't all use the same apps. You won't be able to log into all the apps. I have a list here. You're going to see what you can. And so click on favorite resources, which I'm going to show you in a minute, to see what they use most often. Okay. Another invaluable tool that I've used is to print out flashcards for the kids. Everybody needs help in their basic math skills. Okay. Their multiplication, their division, even addition, subtraction. And like I was working with the kid who, even though he's in third grade, he's really reading on a pre-kindergarten level. And so we were doing flashcards. And it's really easy to just kind of, when you first start off tutoring for just a few minutes, to just sit and hold up your flashcards that you've printed out, whether it's multiplication or division or whatever, and do that for a little while. And so I've included here some easy links where you can just go and print them out, or you can just Google free printable division flashcards and you'll find a ton. Okay. Cut those out, have those, and you can just do it live right here instead of using one of the apps, because you're going to see that sometimes the kids don't have the greatest Wi-Fi connection because there'll be so many people in the house on it and it might lag. And when you go to switch pages on these apps, it lags. But if you have something live like this where you can just not have to flip pages, it really saves your time a lot. Okay, so there's some apps right here. I'm not apps, but here's some links here. Okay, so using Zoom. Most of y'all are familiar with using Zoom. This is nothing new by now, but schedule your Zoom appointments this week before Monday, because some of y'all are going to be starting Monday, and invite your student. As soon as you get the email, the contact information, you're going to log in with their student ID, share your screen, just like I'm doing right now. And very important, click over here to the more and go down here and hit share computer sound. Okay. Then they're going to hear what's coming out of your computer, and it's much more clear than if they're hearing it through the speaker coming through. Okay. Again, I mentioned here, don't save the student's password if it prompts you to do that. Okay. If you need to annotate, like during math classes, a lot of times, you have control of the computer. The student is not going to be able to type anything in. You're logged in as them. Okay. And you're sharing this screen with them. So it's kind of weird because you might be writing sentences, and you're going to ask them, okay, how do you want to answer this reading passage? Tell me what you would like to say. And then you're going to type it in. Okay. I've played around with this. If you give them the ability to type it, you're going to be sitting there for a long time. okay? So you're gonna be doing the answering for them based on what they dictate to you. But when you're doing math, let's say, for example, if you click the annotate and you click the text here and you open a text box and you can sit up and let's say you're doing, addition, you can do 1,200 and one link. I need to do this space and then go down here and say plus 49 and make sure you space it. You can do it this way. And literally it's really quick for you to learn how to do that problem with them. And then you're like, okay, so how do we answer this? And they'll be like, okay, 9 + 1 is, and you just kind of walk them through it, carry the number and all of that stuff. And it's super easy. You'll just play with it a little bit. I've tried the draw, but I mean, you look like, I can't do it. I don't know how people do that, but it looks horrible. So it does a little bit better to me with the text button. But if you're reading something, you can highlight and, underline things too when you're annotating. And then every time you switch a page, you have to clear it though, before it lets you switch a page, but you'll figure that out. Not a big deal. You'll be in control of the screen. Like I said, just like I mentioned, you're going to type answers for the students and allow them to dictate. Expect delays at times. They don't have the greatest Wi-Fi all the times. If you find a student has really substandard Wi-Fi and you're having a real problem, contact Dippin, Walter, or I so that we can see if we can give that family some support, okay, and get them some better Wi-Fi. So lag times, like I said, occur typically when somebody's coming in here. Oh, that's a chat. Sometimes coming in, lag times occur typically when you flip the pages or the screens. So if you teach a concept live, like I was just doing with the flashcards, it helps, speed things up. And just be patient, expect a few challenges. It's new, but it'll flow easily. And the kids are so thankful for the help. They really, really are. Okay, any questions so far? Feel free to unmute yourself or, let me know.
I have a question. So I know if we can only do virtual, does that mean we only will have a virtual student, or are we doing tutoring virtually, whether they are in person or online?
Good question. All tutoring's virtual.
Okay. And I did have a second question. So how did you share your computer audio again?
So you click the little buttons over here where it says more. You see that? And you go down.
I'm seeing what you're.
We can't see what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
sorry. Let me see. So when you're sharing your screen, you get a little box up on the top where it shows like you can annotate or you can, it shows like,
okay.
Video button. To the right, there's 3 dots and it says more. If you go to that and scroll down, it says share computer sound. Click on that. Okay, so when you're sharing, I thought y'all could see this, but I guess you can't. When you're sharing, if you just go to that share menu, I guess you have at the top of your computer, and go to the more button on the right, it has 3 little dots, says more, and then you go down to the bottom, this is the last thing on the bottom, it says share computer sound, okay? And you just click that, and then the sound doesn't come from the microphone necessarily, it comes from like your computer sound.
Okay? Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So let me just kind of.
I think Zachary had a question.
Zachary, what's up?
Thank you, Kennedy. So if we have a time slot that is during Dream Academy hours, are we only allowed to meet with our student during those hours, or can we schedule time outside?
That's a good question too. Well, if they are in Dream Academy, we've got an hour each day set aside from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Because otherwise our schedule's pretty full. So that's their time. So if that's an issue with you, then we need to make sure we assign you a student who's a virtual kid, where you have a little bit. So
Zach, are you talking about in relation to the calendar that Walter sent?
Yeah.
The calendar. Well, there's several calendars that have been around. So I was confused too. So Dream Academy kids who are going to be at Dream Academy. And hold on, I have a printout here I can share with y'all. And these kids that are at Dream Academy, I don't know if you can see this very well, but we have them organized into two groups. So group A and group B. So let's say, for example, on Monday, you can see from 4 to 5 right here is academic hour.
Mhm.
And every day it's a pretty strict schedule from all the different activities that we do all week. So in order that they don't miss out on the activities that we're doing as a group, if your kid that you're tutoring is at Dream Academy, then you're going to tutor them from 4 to 5, okay, on either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, okay?
Mhm.
If that's a problem for you and you can't do that, and all the tutoring's virtual, we're not doing any face-to-face tutoring. If that's a problem, then we need to make sure we give you a virtual kid whose schedule's a lot more open, okay?
Got you.
Kids are at home. They are logging on, doing some assignments for Dream Academy and some activities for Dream Academy, but it's not as intensive as this, okay?
Mhm. Okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm sorry if I interrupted anybody, but I have a question. So, and you might be repeating yourself, but so I scheduled for tutoring from 4 to 5 on Thursdays, but besides that, I can't do any times in the week from 4 to 5. So will I have like a kid that's virtual and then a kid that's non-virtual to like match up with my times? Because I can meet for Dream Academy from 4 to 5 on Thursdays, but I would have to maybe do like a Saturday time or a Sunday time that's later in the evening. So how would that work?
So you can only meet on Thursdays from 4 to 5, 1 day a week?
Yes, 1 day a week. And then I can do like another day that's outside of the scheduled learning time.
So then maybe we need to make sure we schedule you with a virtual kiddo
Mhm.
that you can do that Thursday at 4 to 5 and then set something else up that works for both of y'all.
Okay.
Whether it's a Saturday or another time that you can make work.
Okay. And then also our Sundays.
Oh, go ahead, Janelle. I'll add
sorry.
something.
Okay. So are Sundays available for tutoring or no?
I would say if you're working with a virtual kid and you want to make that happen and it works for them, then that's good.
Okay, good. All right then. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can add some, Julie. Yeah, weekends, if you're available and you have a preference, we can work that out as we communicate to parents. I'm sure there'll be a student that says, hey, I'm available on a weekend, right? And the second thing is, I think logistically what we'll do is we'll kind of make it efficient on our end. I'll go back through the Google form that you filled out and I'll connect Julie on that. What we're going to do is we're going to filter your availability. So therefore, like Janelle, I'm sure you already put that on your form that you registered for, right? And you said tutoring, and this is we'll do our best. We'll go back to that data and collect it. So therefore there's no confusion in coming back to you and asking you, when are you available? Okay. So if you need to change that on your form, just reach out to me or Julie. We'll share this in a separate email with contact information. So you can reach out. But also the second thing was, think about it as two buckets. You have kids that are coming to us in person. We have about 24 students that are come to school. They're in person, right? Students. And there's some students in the second bucket that are only virtual because maybe a parent's decision, right? We're going to stay only virtual. And so that second bucket could be a student between 3rd and 6th grade that is only virtual, right? Or they're part of our summer program, but they don't go to Foster Elementary. To follow CDC guidelines and other things and protocols, we're not allowing students from other schools that we've been connected to come back to us because we're only taking Foster Elementary School students. So what Julia was saying is we have that second bucket, which is just virtual students. So you might get a student in between. You might get a student from the actual first bucket, which is they're in person. And guess what? When they're with you, they'll be on a laptop connected at Dream Academy, but specifically with you. Or you might get a student from the virtual bucket that's at home that's going to get on for tutoring and academic support, right? So we'll work that and we'll run the logistics and we'll keep you in touch.
There's
I had
moving
a
parts
Okay.
too. Uh-huh.
So on the schedule that Walter sent, it said that I'm doing the mentoring circle, and I wanted to know if that's starting next week also, or is that starting next year? Because I thought it would start, I'll start next year in January. Or yeah.
Ben, you're the schedule.
Correct. Yeah, we'll definitely reach out to you and keep in touch. Yeah, so we'll go back through it. This was just to say if you were available, let's say starting next week, we'll connect you. However, if you're not, what Julie is doing is she's basically helping and directing the tutoring and academic support side. She's done it and she's saying, hey, this is what I found that works. This is what you can try. This is how I'm going to help you and assist you on your journey to kind of doing virtual academic and tutoring support. However, if you don't want to do that specifically and say, hey, I want to specifically stick with like mentoring circles or stuff like that, or interest-based mentoring, please send me a message, in a private message, so that we don't put you in this group that's specifically for tutoring and academic support. However, anything that Julie shares is very helpful because she's sharing some tips or things that you might utilize in your interest-based mentoring, or some maybe strategies that might help you as you design that or do that in your group mentoring circles and whatnot.
Okay, thank you. So that the mentoring circle is starting next year, right? Not this semester.
Yeah, I'll connect with Walter. We'll get back to you on that. I know tutoring and academic support was our first thing, and then we are kicking off a few interest-based mentoring as we start talking to individuals and saying, what did you choose? I'll make sure I reach out to your data on Google Forms and see what it was specified as, and then I'll let Walter know. We had another mentor training today, so that's why Walter wasn't on the call, and I believe that one is getting our mentors nationally trained that are coming on onboarding for virtual mentoring, right?
Any more questions? You're welcome. Okay. So,
well, I did. Sorry, Julie. I was holding on to it and I wasn't going to ask it, but here I am. So on my schedule, I said that I was going to be available from 3 to 4 to mentor on site. And so that was on Thursday. And I am, I guess, opting for, well, I'll have to see. It just depends on what your answers will be. Because I'm going to be on site, should I leave and I guess tutor, because right after I'm done mentoring, tutoring hour begins. So logistically, what should I do? Should I just avoid tutoring on the same days that I mentor? Or I guess I'm open for anything.
I would say if you're there, you can work with your student face-to-face online with them. There's no need for you to exit the building and then go log in on your computer if you're already there.
Okay, great.
Correct, Dippin?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kennedy. You just jump in whatever we're doing for that day. And then let's say you say, well, I'm available another day, but I don't have, you don't have to come in person, and you can do that virtual tutoring piece. However, if you just want to do jump in where you come into the center and just provide support, that's totally fine too. And you can choose that and let us know what kind of fits what you want to do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
We're also going to be not all the students are going to be tutoring one-on-one. We're identifying the students with the most need academically and doing this one-on-one thing. While those students exit the room and get on their laptops and meet with their tutor virtually, the rest of the kids in the room, we're having academic hour, and we're going to give them challenges and little hacks or tips for different skills for writing and reading and grammar and math and so on. So during academic hour, the children that really need they're below level, I guess you could say, and really need a push, they're going to be meeting with their tutors. The ones who are at level and who have been testing pretty well, we're going to be getting them, ahead by giving them little tips and tricks and so on. Okay, so that hour, 4 to 5, every day, Monday through Thursday, is academic hour, whether they're tutoring one-on-one online or they're working with the class doing some activities. So you could jump in, Kennedy.
Sounds great.
You could get with one of the kids who really needs help, or you could help us out with the academic hour. So I guess that would kind of depend on how many people we come through with tutoring and how many kids are need that extra help. Makes sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
And I guess a follow-up question. So Walter sent out a Google form and it's supposed to be a weekly send out thing. Would our tutoring schedule also be on a weekly basis as well, or will it be static?
Your tutoring is going to be pretty much a set plan. because you need to, create a consistent plan and program with the kids. So they have accountability and know that this is their schedule and it doesn't vary, especially if they're virtual, either way, especially though if they're at home, you're gonna have problems if you're changing your time all the time with a kid that's doing online learning at home. So, got it?
Got it.
Okay. All right. So the rest I'm going to share with you is information, and I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm going to actually go on and show you some of these, but I've included it in this handout for you to print. And this will save you so much time and energy. These are all the different apps that they have on HISD's learning platform, which is called Clever. Okay. Now, Khan Academy, many of you are probably familiar with Khan Academy. It's an excellent online learning resource. It is not located on the platform with all the apps where they're listed, which we're going to see in a minute, but it's located on the individual teacher pages. And we're going to go through that, and I'm going to walk you through all of this stuff. But Khan Academy is where many assignments are, and you can go into their past assignments and you can even see things from last year. So if your student's a 5th grader this year, you'll see their ELA class from 4th grade on there. And a lot of them did not master the skills from last year before they exited the school and the year ended. So you might find that you want to start, because if you're tutoring a child that we've assigned you, that means from the get-go that this child is academically behind. Okay, so you might want to go and access the previous year, and I'll show you that when we hop on ourselves, and start there, like go backwards and start with last year, because we're working on fundamental skills. So you might not be able to do division with them if they don't understand multiplication yet, I'll show you how to do that, and this you can print out and you can read through all of this. Then you're going to see a section labeled language arts, and there's probably 25 different apps there. Okay. I have listed here, let's see, 15 of them that are good that you can log on. Okay. We have the accelerated reader, which is STAR practice tests. So these are actual STAR math and reading tests that you can do as practice tests. You might want to do this as a diagnostic ahead of time to see what they're needing help with. Or you might want to do a little bit of this every now and then after you've covered some skills. Destiny connects to the Houston Public Library system. And I gave you the information how to do this, but you can look at the collections and look for ebooks. And what I like about Destiny is you can change the reading level, because a lot of the kids, let's say your kid's in 3rd grade, but their reading is really behind. Some of the apps don't let you go to like 1st or 2nd or kindergarten or back up, but Destiny allows you to put in the reading level or even the subject matter and get a level that, where you can begin with, okay? Look for the ebooks, because otherwise it'll show you the collections, but you just need to look at the books that are available online. Discovery Education is a great resource for games. And again, you can adjust the grade level. You're going to select English or math and lots of really cool games and things like that. I'm going to fly through these, y'all, because I'm assuming you're going to print this out and then you're going to play around with it. There's a lot. Flocabulary is an app that many of the teachers use a lot. It's set to music, rap music mainly. It's a great resource. You basically open it, you pick the lesson, you pick the subject. It'll start off with a music video. You might need to pause it because they go really fast. Then it follows with flashcards, then some games and reading selections. And then after you've clicked off each one of those, it opens a quiz for you to see if they've mastered it. And the cool thing is too, is the teachers will get a notification every time you've completed something. So the teachers will understand that this child's working, okay? So it's nice. Hpl Learning Link, that's another library link. Imagine Language and Literacy, we're going to go on that today, just really quick to show you. It's a great resource for language and literacy. You can read, and it actually has them record their voice while they're reading, then plays it back, then reads to them. And it also has lessons in figurative language, punctuation, grammar, all kinds of things. Reading is in there too. It has questions and even a space for you to type in answers. So the kids will say, you'll answer, well, what 2 sentences do you want to read about the purpose of this passage? And they'll tell you, and then you type it in, okay? HMH Ed, this is their actual reading textbook, okay, online. And so you can, excellent resource. Whenever I say excellent, that means it's really good. So you can actually go into their reading textbook, and maybe they have an assignment that they're struggling with, the teachers let you know, or you just want to work on a reading passage that has very structured questions, very structured activities. This is a great place to go. I've listed here like all the different things like about it, okay? I'm not going to read all this for the sake of time, but if you go into HMH, you can click on assignments on the top. And if you click, you can see, click like past, and it shows you past due assignments. So if their teachers assign them something and they haven't done it, it's going to show you that right there. Okay. And so that's a good place to go because you know it's something the teacher's focusing on in class. You can see their scores from what they've done online. And if it shows a low grade, like 40, 50, 60, 70, you can redo it. Okay, to make sure that they have mastery over that, okay? So at the bottom, there's some really cool resources at the bottom of HMH Ed. Leveled reading is really good if you have a kid who's behind on reading levels, because you can take it down a couple notches and it can give you books that are earlier, like easier reading. These anchor charts are really cool, like charts that go with each module. So let's say you went into module 1 of their reading textbook and you just read a nonfiction piece about space travel. Okay, you can click to anchor charts and they're going to give you all of these really cool charts that go with it that you can click in and fill in that will help the kids. Student choice libraries, more text. But what I really liked is this multimedia. These are videos that go along with each of the modules, okay, that kind of explain it even more and lengthen their understanding, even critical thinking and so on for the reading. And this is a cool place. They have a current events section with videos that you just might want to do something like, it has about the elections, it has whatever's going on in the world right now, okay. Learning.com. A to Z, Learning A to Z is an excellent resource. We're going to go on there in a minute. Mac and VIA, that's online books and textbooks. MyOn, this is a good resource because it keeps track of the time that they've spent reading, like by minute, also how many books they've read and pages, and it tells you their Lexile level. So it tells you exactly what level they're reading on. And so that's a good way to kind of gauge where they're at. News ELA has tons of news articles in it. That's a really great resource. The activities button here has quizzes, everything. Renaissance are the practice STAR tests for reading and math that, you know, everything's about STAR. Vocabulary.com, excellent resources for vocabulary exercises. What I've found, like, okay, like if you're tutoring with them for 2 hours a week, kind of set up that I'm going to spend maybe one day on math, and then the other day I'm going to do ELA, and kind of break that ELA down to like do some reading, do some vocabulary, and maybe do some writing, you know, kind of break it down so that you cover everything in the week, because that hour goes fast that you have them. It goes really fast. And if you want to work longer than an hour with them and they're willing to work, you're free, except maybe if they're with us with Dream Academy, we might have an activity going on after, but you're always welcome to ask. And if the kid's needing to work a little longer, that's an opportunity too. So all of this is about vocabulary. Teaching Books has a bunch of really experts. Oh, this is a neat one. You have to, I give you some instruction on how to do this, but you can find basically where it says complete book readings. And what that is the author is actually reading his or her book to the children. And that's kind of cool. And they'll have interviews with the authors and things like that too. So I show you how to do that here. Okay, so that's the ELA section. Now, library resources. This is listed under library resources. You're going to see it in a minute. Brain Pop is one of my favorite ones that I really like to do. It's excellent. You can check the box up at the top and see if there's anything that's been assigned that the students haven't done. You're going to pick either math or English. You can watch the movie, take a quiz. You can even make a movie of the kid themselves. So you can have them do a summarization and they make their own little movie. It's really kind of fun. These worksheets and graphic organizers are wonderful. So like if you're in the math section and you're in division, it'll have graphs and worksheets that you can literally fill in and practice just memorization and so on here. This Sortify is really great too. It's games and a lot of really fun games that you can play online with them. And then at the bottom, there's Game Up with even more games. So you can play around. This is why I'm saying this week or whenever before you start tutoring, get online and kind of play around with these things and figure out which ones you like and kind of get fluent with it. Gale Research is really a pretty smart research site. But what I really like, they have an opposing viewpoint section that has a lot of like current events and like critical issues going on in the world, whether it's racism or sex rights or equality or anything. And it has some really good essays and news articles that talk about opposing viewpoints. It's good for their critical thinking if you want to do some reading work there. New York Times is online. Hey, if you want to look at the Times, there it is. It's all there for free. And then there's World Book Encyclopedia is there as well. Okay, so that's there. Now math. I'm going to fly through these because you can print this all out. CK through 12 is a great resource as well. Discover Education has games, skill builders, all kinds of things. The virtual field trips is really cool under Discovery Education. You can go to all kinds of really neat places and have them learn about that. Everfi is one of my favorite new sources that I've been using. You'll have to register them by adding their birth date, but I think you can just make it up because I just made one up and registered just to try to get on. You select remote courses, and then the math is teaching basic math and engineering skills, but through the game of hockey. It's really cool, and it's videos, it's real interactive. They also have science, fitness, compassion project is really cool too. It's all about teaching empathy and compassion, but you're also reading and using your reading skills. Vault is for money lessons. It teaches them how to manage money and count money and all of that. Word Force is great. It's for reading for kindergarten through second. So if you have a child who's reading below level, this is a really nice little site to use as well. Now, Flocabulary is the one that we're talking about that teaches through rap music. So it has math as well. It has English and math. Here's their math textbook. It's the K5, or it may be K5, it may be K3, whatever grade, but it's their Go Math, this is their math textbook. So you can go there, pick whatever you want to do, and you're just going straight out of their book. So I teach you here how to do this, and you can click contents in the left menu and pick whatever section you want. And then you can also click resources, and it gives you extra activities to do with them, okay? Learning.com, same thing. Renaissance is Star Test. HISD On Track is HISD's site for testing for their assessments. So you can access their past scores, and also they're kind of constantly doing assessments in their classes. So you'll see them listed by month, but you can also take available tests there. And those are listed under assessments and Launchpad, okay, and my resources. So a bunch of testing there. Rethink activities. This is for awareness of self and others, self-care, management, social awareness, social skills. I put this here, it's not really math, but it's more like empathetic, kind of critical thinking skills, okay? Any question about any of this before I flip over and go to show you the actual Clever login?
Yes, so on the HISD Clever, because I've been taking notes, so I noticed that that some of the apps, some of the websites have, I guess, how should I say, deliverables for the students that we kind of need to stay on top of. So is there, I guess, like on the HISD Clever site, is there like a list of the links that we need to go to stay on top of their grades, or, you know, to make sure that they turn in their assignments or whatnot? Because I see there's maybe like about, well, I count 3 so far that we can like, that we need to go in because they have assignments due within those sites.
Well, our focus here is to provide like basic fundamental skills in math and ELA. So our job really isn't to monitor, like, first and foremost, what they're doing in their class. So what we're trying to do is enrich those basic skills. Now, when you're on these apps, you're going to see some of them that list that they have behind work or they work that they haven't mastered. And if you do that, feel free to jump in there. But I don't have access to a grade book per se, okay, where you can see everything. But you're welcome always, if you set up that communication with the teacher, just to kind of check in every couple of weeks and say, hey, how's he doing? Is there anything that you know, any special need, any skills, anything that he's behind on, you know, kind of thing like that. But we're really,
okay, excellent.
Yeah, our main goal isn't to do homework or to make sure that they're turning their work in on time. It's to provide basic skill building, okay? But you're going to see, when I'm going to show you a few things here where you're going to see that they have work behind, and
Right.
and feel free to start there. And it's a good conversation. It's a good opportunity for conversation with your student too, that, you know, we're here to support you, and, you know, we have this level of expectation of excellence, and, you know, we expect you to do your work, and I don't want to see that you have missing work. And I don't, you know, it's good conversation place when they log in, and they'll be the first to say, I don't have anything to do. My teacher, I've done everything. And then you log in, you're like, oh no, you haven't, you know, and then they're like, oh, okay, you know, so I'll show you right now. So, okay. Does that answer your question though?
Yes, I just wanted to know kind of like what to do to prepare for our first meeting, and like what to kind of keep track of throughout the week. So, okay, but yes, you've answered it.
Yeah, when you get their login, just log in like I'm about to do right now, and kind of poke around. I have this printout that I just provided for you here, and kind of poke around go to their teacher page, see which ones they use most often, and kind of poke around. And every teacher uses different things. So there's not a generic piece of advice I can give you, you know? Okay, so here we are. This is the HISD's Clever page, okay? So ignore this where it says Clever badge login. You're gonna click login with Active Directory, okay? Now, this is their student ID. It's gonna start with S and have a few letters, and then at online.houstonisd.org. And their passwords are 1234, unless they've changed it, and I don't think they're allowed to change it. So you're gonna sign in. Now, if it pops up like it does on my computer and says, do you wanna save this password? Say no, because you are going to end up locking yourself into this one student, okay? All right, so now here's the Clever web page, okay, the home page. I'm just gonna scooch down this and show you how much information is here. So it says favorite resources here on the top. So this is the resources that the teachers use most often, okay? So this is a good place to start, but you're gonna notice right here, something's missing. Khan Academy. Khan Academy isn't listed here, and Khan Academy is one of the most important. So that's why on your handout, I put it number 1, and you're gonna access it by going over here to the actual teacher pages, and we'll do that in a second. But here's the teacher pages, okay? They're gonna have their PE teacher on here, their computer teacher, and so on here. Really, we're only focusing on their ELA teacher and their math teacher, okay? Just math and English. Assessments, I mentioned Renaissance is the one that has the online STAR tests, and that On Track we talked about before is where it shows all of their assessments. Don't worry about career and technical. Don't worry about fine arts. Now on the handout that I posted that you're gonna print, I start with language arts. Look at all of the apps that they have. It's really daunting to try to learn all of these. That's why I went through and I listed which ones to use. So I literally have them on your handout here in order, and what each one of these does and how to log into each one, okay? Then you've got library references, and it'll be some of the same ones that are here. And I've waded through these. They're listed on your handout as well, which ones to use. And you've got tons of online access to books and so on. There's the New York Times. There's the MyOn that we talked about. There's the News ELA, World Book Online. We talked about all of these in just the last Brain Pop. That's, you don't have this one. That's for English language learners, Brain Pop Junior, Destiny. Okay, literacy. We talked about some of these, Flocabulary, MyOn, vocabulary.com. You're going to skip that. And now we get to math, because remember, we're just really focusing on math and ELA. We talked about most of these here, okay? STEM Scopes is science, but all of these here. And then there's science, social studies, teacher resources. I think I listed a few of those, technology, and all of this. It's a lot. So that's why you need to print out the document that Walter sent you, and also that is in the chat box too, because it's the cheat sheet for all of these, okay? So you'll know how to use them without wasting any of your time. So first off, I want to show you Khan Academy. So we're going to flip over to the teacher pages. I'm going to click on Mr. Noble's class, and then you're going to see Khan Academy there, okay? I'm going to click on Khan Academy. Usually takes a few seconds for it to open. Okay, here we go. So notice, oh, it's blank. And if your kid's sitting with you, he's like, see, I told you I didn't have any work. And you're like, what? Oh, wait, let me click on past. Oh, check this out. You didn't do this one. You didn't do this one. And oh, look, this one you got a 71. This one you got a 50. This one you got a 25. This one you got a 40. I know where we need to start.
Yes.
Okay. So, but here's the thing. It starts with the most recent, like what they literally did this past week or whatever, or most recent. If you go back to next and you keep going back to back to back, and you're going to go back. And so you can even going to go back maybe to last year. Okay, when they first went online last year, like when this child was in 4th grade. But look at all these nice 100s. It's all completed. That's because he and I went back through all these and redid them. They were 50s and 20s and 30s, but we went back and we redid all of these. So now he learned all of that, but you can see where we have left off and where we haven't started again. And he just flat out didn't do these. Okay, so while you're on Khan Academy, even though this is for math, you can hop on and you can see here's their language arts class. That's from 4th grade. Okay, here's reading from 4th grade. You can go over here to my stuff and hit courses. And all their courses are going to pop up. Now, this is nice because here's all these different lessons. And this is where we left off, 7% mastered. So you can click resume and get started on that. Here's 5th grade reading and vocabulary. So you can resume and it will just walk you through this. Here's more, and you can click see all and it's going to pop up even more. Here's grammar here, and notice the grades, 48%, 67%. So even since they didn't, even since they did it, doesn't mean that they don't need to jump into it again. So here we are, I just jumped into introduction into decimals. I can hit start in Khan Academy and it's like ready to practice, let's go. And then you just do this. And so you're the one typing. So it's saying write 8700ths as a decimal. And you're gonna say, hey, Alex, how do you write 8700ths like a decimal? Tell me what to write. And he's gonna say, oh, you put a period and then 87. Oops, my number lock's on. So you come in here and do period, put your decimal in there and 87. Okay, next question. How can we write 50 and 2/10 in Word? 50 and 2/10, bam. Okay, super easy, super fun. I'm not gonna do his work for him so he gets 100 and he wasn't the one doing it, so.
Right.
So there's Khan Academy, okay? not hard to master at all. Okay, so let me get us out of Khan Academy. Have to move.
I have a question or some questions.
Go for it.
So are all the apps that are listed on like the cheat sheet are in Clever, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that was my question. That was one of my questions. And then, so basically we see all of their past assignments in Khan Academy, right?
Not all of them. Khan Academy is one of the sources they use. This is very confusing. Khan Academy is one of the sources they use, but they've got many more that they use. I'm going to show you a couple others real quick. But Khan Academy is a good place to start. Okay.
So they have like multiple assignments on different websites. Is it per teacher, or is it all the teachers use different types of forums for their assignments?
This was my big problem, and I even talked to their curriculum director in a meeting we had up at the school, that there's no standard. If I were the principal of the school or the curriculum director, I would have a requirement that each teacher needs to post on their homepage, like here we go, a simple outline for the week that says this is what's due Monday, this is what's due Tuesday, but you'll see nothing, okay? But some teachers do it, like Miss Oglesby is pretty good about it. She has her announcements, but look at her announcement. It has been a fun summer. But we're at
Oh God, yeah.
It's December, basically.
right, and she'll have this week's objective. And so she's one of the only teachers that puts this, but this has been up there for 3 weeks, at least. But it will, you know, and not all the teachers do this. Okay.
So do we like check the teacher's syllabus to see, I don't even know if they even have syllabi, but do we check, where do we see like where the assignments are due?
I don't
Like,
see,
that's what I'm trying to organize.
Our job here as their tutors is not to really worry about what they're doing every day in their classes. We are providing fundamental skills. So really you're going to open up these apps, and I'll show you shortly what I'm talking about. And you're going to see what they're doing, and you're going to see what they've mastered and what they haven't. And so your job's not really to, I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk at the same time. Your job's really not to worry about what their homework is, what they're doing in class, what their grades are. Every child that's been put in the tutoring program is behind skill-wise. They're not.
Okay.
Okay. So you can jump on any of these apps that I've showed you and just get to work, whether we're going to work on multiplication today. We're going to work on division. We're going to do decimals. We're going to look at comma rules. We're going to do reading comprehension. Okay. So you'll get a little bit more of a feel after I show you some of the other apps. Okay.
Okay. And that was actually one of my questions. I actually have 2 more, sorry.
No
So,
worries.
right. So how do we know like which subjects to work on with which kid? Are they going to tell us like what they're struggling with, or is there like a list for each child that where we know are there weak points, or how does it work?
Any
Like, how
child,
do we do that?
any child who we're giving you to tutor is going to need help in ELA and math, just generally across the board.
Oh, okay.
So feel free, like I said, like maybe one day to dedicate ELA and one day to dedicate math. And, when you do the ELA work, you can read to them. They all need help reading. And as you're reading, ask them the critical questions, ask them vocabulary. They all need grammar help. They all, and you're going to see a little bit more when I open up some of these other apps, how you can do that. Okay.
Okay.
So we looked at Khan Academy. Okay, let me show you Flocabulary, because that's one the teachers use a lot, and it's pretty fun to use. Okay, so this is Flocabulary. Look up at the top, 15 assignments. Okay, well, I don't have anything, nothing's due. Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay, so you can just hop on that, but that's science, so we're not using science. But here we go, here's math. So that's the to do. This is what's done, and bam, there's overdue. Oh, really? That was due on the 2nd, and that was due on the 3rd. And if they've done it, it's checked off in green. If they haven't, it's orange. So right here, this is something the teacher has assigned, but they haven't done. So you could hop on anywhere on any of these. In English, though, or language arts or math. Subject verb agreement, everybody needs that. So I'll just show you real quick how this Flocabulary works. It's a lot of fun. Well, hold on, he already did. Let me do the video. So this is how that works. Vocabulary.
Subject verb agreement.
I'm
You
sharing.
know how to treat it. Plural subjects go with plural verbs, and single subjects with singular verbs.
How do a subject and a verb agree? They gotta agree about numbers, believe. Single subjects go with singular verbs. Subjects and verbs are both types of words. The subject is who or what does the action. The verb is the action that happens. Like the rat eats on the subway tracks. The verb is eats and the subject is rat. Eats is the singular form of the verb to eat. And that's one of the rats that came in from the street. But if more rats scamper underground, we'll have to switch the form of to eat around. The rats eat on the subway tracks. The verb is eat and the subject is rats. Since rats is plural,
I'm gonna pause it. It's fun, and it's
Yeah.
it's math, it's ELA stuff, everything. It goes pretty fast, so I pause it and then we look at the chart and then we keep going. You know what I could say? But then after you get to the video, and you have to watch the whole video all the way through before it'll let you go to the vocab cards. Okay, and then it'll get you to a game, and then you take, and then the game is usually, it scores you. And then there's a little section that you can read and do a reading passage with them. And then and after you've done all that, a quiz will pop up, but not until you've completed all those without fast forwarding through anything. A quiz will pop up. Okay. And then here's the lyrics labs, and you can write a rhyme about subject verb agreement using the vocabulary words. So it's fun. This is one that teachers use all the time. Vocabulary. So, okay, so let me get off vocabulary. So now we're back on that main page again, right? Let me show you a couple other ones. Imagine learning, language and literacy. This is a great one too. Okay, so they have it for Spanish, and then they have language and literacy, and then they have reading. So if you look at language and reading, language and literacy, this is also games and so on. This, you can record your voice and read it. It plays it back.
figuratively speaking. Do you know what a simile is? Even if you don't know the word simile, you have probably heard a simile before. You have seen them in books. You hear them in songs.
Like a diamond in the sky.
People even use them when they talk to each other.
Woo, I'm gonna pause that just for the sake of not sitting here for 6 months. But you'll work through that, and it has focus questions in it and everything for you to fill in. Here's the reading one. Some of these apps are really good and some of them are really not. So that's why I put this list on there for you guys, kind of as a cheat sheet. So you can have them pick, something out of here. So let's say we want to learn about, game changers. So it's going to read you through all of these different passages. And they're going to do this little activity, but see at the bottom, it says the focus question for this unit is, how have evolving cultures and improving technology changed sports over the time? So you introduce that, have a little talk. You can even have them dictate to you and you type it in for them, and then you submit it, and then you watch it, and then more questions and things will pop up after, okay? So it's just so much stuff here. It's crazy. That's why I'm saying it's best if you just kind of poke around a little bit before you start to work with your student. Okay, so let me show you their actual textbook. Okay, this is their textbook, their reading textbook. So, oh yeah, overdue, 12 assignments. So you can view the assignments that are due 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, and you can start those assignments, or you can go to discover right here. And I have this all on your cheat sheet that you have to print out. Okay. And this is literally their book. Okay. And you can click on the modules here, which are like the chapters, the sections of the book. And this is literally like you're flipping the pages of the book. Okay. And you go through this just like you are with the book. Okay. And there you go. This is their textbook online. Now, what's cool about this, if I go back, I think it's here. I have to do it back this way. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, I have to get out of that. So if I go back, before I enter the modules, if I go down here at the bottom, that's what I list on your little cheat sheet here. This, my book and the anchor charts and all this, these are charts that back up like what you read. This is more text to read that back it up. But what's really cool is this multimedia down here. So let's say in module 1, there was the chapter on inventors at work, and it has the inventor's secret, what Thomas Edison told Henry Ford. You open this and it's got action videos and things that go along with the chapter. Okay, so
let's look at a page from The Inventor's Secret, what Thomas Edison told Henry Ford.
Henry's quadricycle could go up to 20 miles per hour, but it cost a fortune to make. Most people thought his rattling gas buggy was a joke. Get a horse, people shouted at Henry. But the whole country was crazy about Thomas's electric light. Henry scratched his...
I'm going to fast forward it a little bit so we don't have to sit here. But now she's going to actually start teaching and ask critical questions.
You may have read narrative nonfiction before. Do you know what it means?
I think it's when things that really happened are told like a story.
That's right. A narrative is a series of events told in story.
So they're going to go through and do some critical thinking with it. So
her even says
what's in the textbook. So this is really nice. Okay, so I wrote that on your little cheat sheet too. Okay. All right, I'm going to get out of HMH and go back to the dashboard. Learning A to Z. Let me find that real quick. There it is, the robot guy. What? Okay, now this is pretty cool site, Learning A to Z. I give you all the instructions how to use it. It shows like what they've done, but they get badges for every time they read. It tells you how many things they've read, and it has quizzes, but you click on this and it keeps them on one level until they've read like a bunch, and then it moves up their reading to another level. Okay, so you go to each one and it's a book and you can listen to it, but I don't say you should do that. You want to make them read it, right? So you click on read and it's actually like flipping a book. You have all the pages and you have them read to you, okay? When they're done reading the book, then, boom, 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 great job. Then you click on the questions and it's reading comprehension, okay? And you do this together with them. So, and then after you finish it, I've done 47 tasks with Alex on this, okay? So every time you finish, I think 60, and they don't take that long to do, they get leveled up to the next level and the books get harder, okay? So this is something that we'll be giving them rewards for, like every time they level up, they get to go like to the treasure chest and get a reward. So, okay, so that's Learning A to Z. Brain Pop, I really like Brain Pop too. Okay, so Brain Pop, you can see here, it has all the different subjects. So let's say and then they have like a today's topic, okay? But let's say we go to math here. All right, all these different kinds of math. Let's do practical math. Let's say we want to work on division. Okay, it shows you as a little video. We didn't have this when we went to school.
No, Brain Pop came out when I was in
All right,
middle
Jagoons,
school.
we did it. We got away with 3 of the biggest capers in history. When we get back to the hideout, we'll divvy up the loot, and we'll all be rich. Rich, I tell you.
So how are they going to divide the loot?
When we're through, boys, we'll all be driving new Packards and listening to the biggest radios they make.
So to save time, I'm not going to do that, but it goes to the video and all of them have the little robot. And then let's say you finished, doing the dividing and you've learned about division and they're dividing up their loot, right? You've gotten through all of this. Then you click over here and you take your quiz. Okay, and bam, you do the quiz. And and there's other things you can play around when you're on here. The make a movie's kind of fun. There's worksheets that you can do. This I really like because nothing replaces just a good old fashioned rote memory, how much plus 11 divided by 11 equals 9, or 64 divided by 8 is equal to what? And then you put it in with them. 42 divided by what? 7 is equal to 6, and you just fill this in. So I like doing these little worksheets. You can go up here to notifications. Bam, this is overdue. This is overdue. So I forget which of you was asking, like, how do we know what their grades are and what's overdue in their class? Even though that's not our main priority, you might as well focus on some of the things that are overdue, and things that they need to be working on. Okay. Remember, math and ELA, though, we don't need to do the 13 colonies for social studies and things like that. Okay. So always click on this. So I think I mentioned that in your little cheat sheet too, where to look. Okay. So that's Brain Pop. And again, whoops. I think I might have logged us out of that. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so that's Brain Pop. I'm just gonna look at a few more. So these are all your ELAs. These are the ones that has a heart on are the ones we've clicked on today just now. Let's look at under math. I really like Everfi. Where did it go? I went past it. Library.
Just pass it again.
I passed it
The
again.
math? Yes, ma'am.
Library, literacy, math, bam. Everfi. I just found this site. I've never seen a teacher use it in their class, but I just found this site and I really, really like it. So you click on remote courses, okay? You can do current courses and you're probably gonna see that. But this is all written on my cheat sheet and you're gonna see here's math and if you hover over it, it says that there's about 1 to 2 hours worth of work here. And it tells you how it's done. If you go down to, I like this compassion project that they have. There's 3 lessons that are 20 minutes each that teaches about compassion, empathy, identity, emotions. This is something we could use in our, circles, The vault is for money, teaches them money skills. So that's math too. And then Word Force is really cool. This is 13 hours of worth of work is there. And this is for K through 2. So if they're behind, but look at this math one. It's all taught.
Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm the head coach, and my name is David Romero. We've had a great season, and the team has made it all the way to the Stanley Cup playoffs. We need your help to get the team ready for their upcoming games. If you're successful, you'll help the team secure the win and bring home the ultimate prize, the Stanley Cup. This is the team's dressing room. Let me show you around.
I'm going to skip the tutorial, but it's really cool. So for a lot of your guys especially, it's math taught through sports. And they even go into engineering concepts and so on. So here's some games. So
sports arenas are used for many different types of events. So the ice on our hockey rink has been covered up to make room for other flooring. Our team's next game is just around the corner, and our hockey rink still looks like a basketball court. The players can't skate on wood, so what can we do? Help our crew remove the covering on the ice as quickly as possible. You'll have to do some area calculations to speed up the process. Before we get started, let's make some predictions about how to calculate area. Don't worry, you're not expected to know the answers yet. Just try your best.
So pretty cool. Okay, so area and so on. So I'm not going to waste a bunch of time going through that. But
help our crew remove the covering on the ice as quick.
You might want to play around on that as well. So really, really fun. Let's see. And then I want to show you, we're almost done, y'all. Go back to the portal. I wanted to show y'all their math textbook. This is their math textbook that's online. Okay. Click, let me see. This is to access their due dates and everything. So it says they don't have anything to do. Look at old assignments. Oh, there's numerical expressions there. But if I go back, you just kind of have to learn to poke around on these and find it. You can go to My Library. Okay, and click over here. I think it's things to do. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Here's their actual book right there. So you click the book, and here's their math book. And they're going to be like, well, I don't have my book. I don't have access to my book. I don't have it with me. I can't do any math, miss. Oh, yeah, you can. It's all right here. Okay. You can click here, and where's the content? Table of contents. Bam. And this is interactive. So we're going to do adding and subtracting decimals. Bam, you're on the page. And you can click through and go through it. And it's, if you're like a little hesitant, like I'm not a great tutor, I don't know how to add and subtract decimals or whatever. Well, you've got it. It teaches you step by step. After you're done going through it, click resources, and then you can click on these, and it's actual like activities to do. Okay, it's all on your cheat sheet that I typed out for you guys to how to figure this all out. It took me, oh God, probably 20 or 30 hours of going through every single one of these apps and poking on every little thing, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work and so on. So it's a lot, I know. But here we are back at the main portal. So let me put all of y'all back up here so I can see. That's pretty much everything that I feel like I really need to dive in. I know you're probably going, I feel really overwhelmed right now, but that's why I created your cheat sheet for you. So I would, as soon as you get the login for your child, set aside maybe an hour or a little bit of time to come on over here, click on the teacher pages, click on the teacher, and see, you know, this is science. Well, she's got Khan Academy up there. Here's Miss Oglesby. This is her ELA, and you can see that she uses Flocabulary a lot. That's the rap one, and Khan Academy, but she uses the others as well. But just because she doesn't use one of these apps doesn't mean you don't have to use it, because there's so many cool assignments on everything. So favorite resources is a great place to start, because that has pretty much the ones they use most often, all listed here. We went to most of these. Okay, any questions, y'all? It's a lot.
When will we, well, first and foremost, thank you for kind of making it a little bit more palatable, you know, going through and dedicating that time. So thank you for the cheat sheet. My question would be, when would we receive our student, or when would we know what student we're working with?
I believe Dippin's working on that, correct, Dippin?
Okay.
So, yes, so you're working this week on getting their login information and deciding exactly which kids we're going to put in the tutors and matching you guys up. So hopefully by the end of this week, I think, is that correct, Dippin? Yeah.
Correct.
So by the end of this week, you should get an email that tells you who you're working with, their email address that they'll be working off of, and that you'll send a Zoom invitation to, and their login information. And so as soon as you get that login information, you can log in here and then kind of poke around. And then you can also send out those emails to the parents. That'll be the email address you get. And then you can come over here to teacher pages or here, and you click on messages, and you can click each teacher. Like these are the ones that I sent at the beginning. You know, I just said, hi, I'm, you know, these are the messages I've sent to the teachers. Some of them don't answer back. Blows my mind.
Miss Oglesby, come on.
You know, I've messaged teachers, and the only one I've heard back from is Mrs. Pope messaged me back, and I think one other teacher. Yeah, that was me asking for a code. Nobody messed me up. So you just do your best. At least they know you're trying. So.
I know this is already a thing, but would it be possible if our students have a designated maybe composition book for our tutoring session notes? That way they're not kind of like overlapping with what they have for class.
That's a great idea. And that's a good expectation for them to have when they sit down with you, is that they have pencil and paper out.
Yes.
I know we have a journal for them. The kids that are in the face-to-face Dream Academy every week, they have a journal. So they could use a portion of that journal for that. And then the kids at home, I have them, I'm like, the first thing I ask is I'm greeting them, checking in with them, how you doing? I'm like, you got your pencil and your paper? And, you know, they have to fumble and get it. But that's a good expectation, just to say every day when we meet, I expect you to have that out.
Composite than like loose leaves, you know,
Yeah.
they'll be at the bottom of their backpacks crumbled. Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, they can use some, their journal that we have. We have a little composition journal that they're using, that they have in their boxes at the school. So you can ask them to get their journal out, and they can do their tutoring work out of their journal. Because they're not allowed to even have backpacks or anything at the school right now. So any other questions, guys? It's a good question, Katie. All right, I have on this, so you print this out, and on there's my phone number, on there's my email. You get logged in and you start feeling overwhelmed or a little confused or anything, feel free to call me. You're not bugging me at all. It's a lot to swallow. I just suggest you set aside one day that's going to be math and one day that's going to be ELA, and you just kind of break it down like that. They all need help on punctuation. They all need help on grammar. They all need help on critical reading skills, just asking the why and what the purpose is and so on. They all need help on literary devices like simile, metaphor, personification. And then math, you can just work through their textbook, or you can work through any of these apps and just start from the basics.
Okay.
All right, let me look at my chat. I got some things coming up on the chat.
Rochelle says, thanks, Julie.
Oh, you're welcome. And Zachary, right? All those like games are so much fun. I mean, you don't even realize you're working half the time. It's fun.
And Julie, I was going to go over a few things when you're done, yeah?
Yes, I'm done.
Cool. Okay. Before we get off the call, thanks for your time. I'm going to run through a few logistics. If what I say is very different, and Julie, I'm going to send you an email with this detail. While Julie was doing this, I was able to pull data off of your Google Forms information, and I was able to tie it in with what time. So I'm going to go one by one very quickly. If it's different, no problem. Just remember, I'm going to drop my number in the chat in a little bit, and just text me or email, because you already have our email, and say, hey, that time doesn't work for me. I need to change it. Okay. So Alice, I sent you a survey link because I wasn't able to pull any info. So you might see an email come to you. If not, email back. That way we can pull what time is good for you. Okay. Brandy,
okay.
You're set for virtual. That is Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. as of now. Camille, I have you virtual 11:30 a.m. That's what you specified. It's a Monday or Wednesday. However, we'll identify during the school time what works. But in the meantime, that's something that we're going to work around for you so we can accommodate a student for you. Chanela, you're virtual Thursday, 4 to 5 p.m. Carnisa, you are both virtual or in person, so we'll let you know, and that's Wednesday, 3 to 4 p.m. So we'll see what works best for you. And you also specified outside of tutoring, you might be interested in other stuff. Destiny, I have you virtual Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. Okay, Olivia, you said you're both in person or virtual. And so we're looking at Monday or Wednesday, 4:30 to 5 p.m. And I'll keep you in the loop of what we confirm. Rochelle, I have you virtual Saturday, 3 to 4 p.m. Okay, and so you'll probably start next week. Sami, you also identified virtual, which was 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, you'll probably start next week, and we'll kind of run the logistics in a separate email with you. And then Zach, you said you're available for both virtual or in person. Thursdays 4 to 5 p.m. Okay, so that's your time. That's what I've kind of pulled. If a different time works better for you, just send an email, or I'm going to drop my number in a little bit in the chat, and text and say, hey, I got a better time that works. Okay. This is just so as we get information from students, everything might go smooth next week, and we might have someone ready for you on Monday. Or as I get data, I might need a few more days, and we might start a little in the latter of the day as we identify this, and I'll talk to Julie afterwards. Okay. But once again, thanks for your time. I know many of y'all, as I looked at your Google Forms information, you said, hey, outside of tutoring, I also want to do other things. We'll be mindful of that. We'll kickstart it with tutoring. A lot of this stuff is very self-guided. So Julie's been just really going in, and I think we'll have another conversation with this group. We'll lock this group in and really provide support to you as you need, because it's, trial and error, but it's also about building relationships, right? And so your first session might not be diving into Clever. It might be just, hey, I don't know you because you weren't in Dream Academy, or you were, and you maybe had a relationship, and your first session might be just something you do where, we did things during the start of the pandemic, right? So it might be getting to know activities, and we'll kind of guide that as well, because relationship will play a big role in terms of how we connect. But I'll help with connecting with the parent initially. So therefore your student gets on, you're able to connect, and then really just following through with the engagement portion, right? Week to week. So we'll keep you in touch. But either than that, if any of y'all have questions, please let me know. My number is in the chat, and I know we went over today. However, if you text me your Cash App or something, I'll send you just dinner money. We usually try to pick a place, but I found Cash App has just been the best. If you don't use Cash App, just text me your Venmo handle, and we'll send you over $20 each, just so you can take care of that. So once again, thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, let us know, and Julie will be in touch, and we'll kind of go over logistics and stuff when you're available. For everybody, thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys. I know it's a lot.
Yes. Well, thank you, Ms. Julie, and thank you, Dippin. You're always too kind and accommodating to us. So thank you. And I did have one last question. Would we ever have like maybe bi-weekly or like bi-monthly, like I guess like check-ins with the tutors? Like that way we can like kind of like feed off of each other, know what works, and whatnot, if that's not too much to ask for all of the tutors to be a part of.
A great idea. Yes, that's a great idea. And I'm also going, this has been recording, and I'm going to post this on my YouTube page, which is Julie Atun, A-T-U-N. I think my name's on here, right? Yeah, on the cheat sheet we did for the summer with the art. So if you missed this or want a recording of it, or somebody wasn't able to attend today, they can access this little teaching tutorial just by going on my YouTube. It's so big, it's impossible to send it out any other way, at least that I know of. Thank you again. So thanks, you guys. I know this was a lot and it was long, but I appreciate it.
Thanks, Julie.
Your name, right?
Yes, Julie Atun, A-T-U-N.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Guys, see y'all.
Y'all have a good one.
Y'all have a
Good
good
night,
one.
everyone.
Night.
Y'all have a good night.
You do the same.